Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
Hello all, and what is going on? How y'all doing this Thursday evening? This is the Club with the Man 1993, and you gotta excuse me a little bit. I've had a little bit of, my throat's been feeling a little bit dry the past couple days, so I'm not gonna get as energetic and loud, possibly because I've been loaded at work this week, but just one of those weeks. But I am here to record my Raw review from this past week, the August 28th, 2023 edition, and it took place in Memphis, Tennessee. Wait, that's right. It was Memphis, right? Not Nashville. It was Memphis, right? Just making sure. Yes, it was Memphis, Tennessee. It was the go-home show for this Saturday's pay-per-view, WWE Payback 2023, which will be live right here in my hometown. And I myself will be in attendance. Back-to-back pay-per-views I've attended. That's probably not going to happen too often. Well, unless you exclude whenever I went to NXT TakeOver Brooklyn and SummerSlam in 2015 back-to-back. If you exclude that. But yeah, this is one of the very few times in my life where that will be happening. But, again, I'm here live. Not live, jeez. But I will be in attendance, and I'm looking forward to the show being good. Hopefully it won't be as crazy of a drive as, of course, it was to Detroit, because I'm just going into town. But, we shall see. So, yeah, let's talk about the go-home show. Again, it was decent. I think what hurt it was the fact that there was a lot of rematches. But the matches were pretty good quality. There wasn't really a bad match. Main event match for that Falls Count Anywhere. Good match for Becky and Zoey. I even thought, they've wrestled how many times, the New Day and the Viking Raiders had a pretty good match. Again, everything was good. It's just a lot of it we've already seen. They did announce, which as of this moment when I'm recording Raw, which is on Thursday, tomorrow's SmackDown. Which also I will be doing preview and predictions for Payback. I may be doing that preview recorded though. Might be that. I haven't really had the time this week to put together graphics. So I may just do that one pre-recorded. But I plan on doing the pay-per-view review live. Hopefully. We'll see. But the preview will most likely be recorded. I may even do it tonight. Who knows? But they did announce one match, though, that although it sounds awesome on paper, I'm not really interested. And why? Because it involves the team that they're making the center focal point of Raw that I would love to see be a successful unit. But as I've been saying for the past couple weeks, the losses have piled up. The losses have, drawn my interest away. And that, of course, is the Judgment Day. So let's start off the show. And, of course, we started off with something involving the Judgment Day. We didn't main event with the Judgment Day, though. That is a very different and strange thing recently. Because I think they said, the past, 17 Raws, I think it is. I think 14 of them have consisted of a main event involving the Judgment Day, I think it is. Not 100% sure. But, anyways. So we opened up, of course, we had the dual memorial graphic for both Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt. They did honor them both with a video package this week. Not as like heavy as it was on SmackDown, even though it wasn't as heavy as we had hoped for. But once again, it was 24 hours since Bray had passed away. They weren't going to be able to put together a full tribute show for him. And like I said, also, you could also insult the memory of Terry Funk. I get it again, Terry Funk's life was a lot more complete. Bray Wyatt was still very young, but, still, you couldn't have heavily, celebrated one over the other at this time. Hopefully sometime down the line, though, I even said, even if you want to do it, towards the end of the year, where it's, a slower time of the year, one of the last shows of the year, do kind of, like a recap show or something like that. Like they used to with NXT, whenever they would finish the last NXT pay-per-view in, December. Next couple weeks was just, the best of NXT from the year. Why can't we do something like that? That'd be when we do, a tribute show for Bray Wyatt. But anyway, so they did a couple of video packages. They did have a moment also where they had the Fireflies and the chair in the ring again, which was awesome. You saw a lot of wrestlers also, which we'll talk about one at the very end, wearing the Bray, wristband or armband and whatnot. I said, some said Bray, some said Wyndham on it. So they did honor him pretty well. By the way, there also has been reports floating around, some more news about Bray's death. Apparently, the morning of his death, he did have a follow-up appointment with his heart doctor or whatnot. And they did recommend him to wear one of those heart defibrillators. Well, Bray got home and went to take a nap. And he wasn't wearing it. In fact, he actually left it out in his car. When JoJo heard his alarm going off and he wasn't answering it, she got concerned. That's when she went into the bedroom and found Bray not really breathing, and he was blue in the face. Took him to the hospital, pronounced him dead. That apparently is the latest on details. And also, apparently, I guess there's a memorial service going on, within the next couple days, or whatever heck it is, for Bray Wyatt. And AEW also, Tony Khan, has allowed people to miss Dynamite, and I think including All Out also, to be there for Bray. Which, we're going to talk about that. Which, by the way, if you notice, I have not yet done my All In review. I was, but based off of how this week has been, and Raw got thrown on me because I fell asleep during Raw. I missed half of the show and had to rewatch it last night. So I was not prepared at all to do any reviews yesterday. So because I fell behind that much, I'm just going to do, as I posted on Twitter and on YouTube, I was going to do one video for AEW next week where I talk about both All In and All Out. And all that matters is the drama. Yes, I'm going to rant about that as well. I'm basically going to do a video where I just rip into AEW because, again, it's just, I love the product, but then again, stuff like what happened at All In between the 0 hour and the main show, is just overshadowing everything else that was successful about All In. So, like I keep saying, the drama is making me not want to talk about AEW. Which is why, again, once I do that video, you're not going to hear me talk about AEW for a hot minute on this channel. But anyways, I know most of you are probably here. I don't know how I got into all of that. But most of you are here, of course, hear my thoughts on this week's episode of Raw. So, let's get into it. We did start off with, after we had the vignette for Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt, we started off with a match with Sami Zayn and Damian Priest, which, was a good match. We've seen them fight how many times, tags and whatnot, too. It was still a good back and forth match. JD McDonough, though, tries to help again. And it did work this time because Damian Priest does win with the South of Heaven. But afterwards, though, McDonough slides into Ray's Priest's hand, but Damian's like, I ain't have any of this. And he shoved him and laid him out. Then Jay turns around to Owens and Sami, who then beat him down and hit him with a stunner and a haluva kick. Was Vince booking that? Because how... I mean, okay, there's obviously a few things on here that was definitely not Vince. But I was kind of like, how... Again, I keep saying this. Why are they... They're teasing JD McDonough being like the piece that keeps everything held together. Yet why is he getting his ass kicked? Why did he have to lose his match? He looked great. He had a great match, but he lost. And with how much Judgment they have lost, and they've not capitalized at the right moments with them, again, why do I care? Why do I care? Because later in the show, it was announced that Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are going to have a Pittsburgh Steel City street fight at Payback when they defend the tag titles against Finn Balor and Damian Priest. And I'm like, they've lost so many matches. Why should I want to see like again, had they had their momentum on winning ways, had they not overdone this stuff with Finn Balor and Damian Priest every week, constantly not being able to work together, it's just like, can we just move on from this and do something else? As I keep saying, keep Rhea and Dom together. But let Finn and Damian go do their own thing. They don't need the Judgment Day. Again, Judgment Day to me shouldn't even still exist. Because Edge won the feud. And the whole point again was for Edge to end what he started. Yet they're still here. And I don't get it. I don't get it. We have commentary hyping up New Day and Viking Raiders. And then Drew McIntyre is hanging out backstage with Akira Tozawa. Tozawa tells them he looks great. And I guess Matt Riddle rolls up because he's holding a piece of paper of Drew having like a photo shoot in green bro trunks. And then Riddle's like, basically like hype up like, yeah, we're going to be a team. We got to have matching gear. And we also got to scout the competition, New Day and the Viking Raiders. And yeah, they basically went out and was eating hot dogs. And then they were getting ready for that match. Well, they didn't have that match yet. First, we also got a video package of the build for Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez. It's going to be happening on Saturday. Of course, I think one of the announcers, I think it was Barrett, botched and said Raquel Gonzalez. And later in the show, when Rhea had a promo, she said Raquel Rodriguez. Like, I'm pretty sure she didn't hear them. She may have. But it sounded like she was correcting them. But anyways, we also get hype for Mr. John Cena is returning tomorrow, which I thought would just be to hype up that spectacle show in India next Friday, the 8th, which I'm not going to be able to watch live next Friday because I do have my alumni bowl from high school. But apparently, though, he's going to be on SmackDown, every SmackDown for the rest of the month, I heard. Is he doing something at Fastlane? I don't know what the heck he's doing, but weird. But anyway, so he returns on Friday. And then the music hits for Mr. L.A. Da-da! And we're like, yeah! And then all of a sudden we realize, it took me a while to realize, actually, I didn't realize till my wife pointed out, it was The Miz disguised as L.A. Knight. He comes out and he tries to talk like a tough guy, which of course he cannot imitate his voice as well as LA Knight can imitate The Miz. I'm sorry. He did such a great impersonation of The Miz's voice on SmackDown last Friday. He gets there and says he's a dangerous man. He gets caught up in a catchphrase loop before bringing in a bag of free t-shirts. He takes them out and instead of throwing them into the aisle and taking his sunglasses off, he stripped all his LA Knight gear off to his waist. And again, basically reveals that, we're all pathetic and that being LA Knight is very vanilla and very simple. And it shows how pathetic the crowd is and they'll cheer for anything and their support means nothing. And Miz, doesn't do catchphrases. He calls himself awesome. It's true. He is awesome. And when he exposes LA Knight, the party will be over. promos like this has really made me miss The Miz. Like, again, like especially from 2016 to 2018, the freaking run of his career, where he should have been a world champion. Again, what they did with Daniel Bryan being the one to dethrone AJ Styles did work in the end, in my opinion. I still thought that was going to be The Miz. If it wasn't for Daniel Bryan's heel turn, I still think The Miz should have been the one to dethrone AJ Styles from that long title reign he had. I love this Miz. Like, this is the Miz I enjoy. And him and LA Knight are going to have a hell of a match on Saturday. I'm excited for it. What also is going to be pretty good is this stuff with Seth Rollins and Shinsuke Nakamura. Again, we get the recap of Shinsuke Nakamura trying to get into Seth's head as he knows about his back. And we're going to hear from Seth Rollins later. But he was shown sitting backstage with a very serious look on his face. And Ricochet walks by, but then Seth acknowledges him with losing his sour focus. But of course, when he walks away, he was still sour. New Day had a good time, decent match with the Viking Raiders. Again, we had Matt Riddle and Drew McIntyre on commentary. For some reason, Drew McIntyre is very obsessed with wanting to get his hands on the Viking Raiders. During the match, though, I believe the Viking Raiders threw Kofi into Matt Riddle and Drew McIntyre. And then Drew got up, chucks a chair at them, and he was aiming for whichever Viking Raider was there, but instead it hit Xavier Woods and took him out. Which led to the Viking Raiders being able to basically 2-on-1 Kofi Kingston and beat him with Ragnarok. Afterwards, Drew and Riddle got through the Raiders, but they ran off, and McIntyre was apologizing, and basically Drew McIntyre said, we're going to get the win. I guess we're getting a tag match with Matt Riddle and Drew McIntyre versus the Viking Raiders next week. I don't know if it's set up for some type of like a way to crown the new number one contender for the tag titles, or if this is still going to lead to a Drew McIntyre heel turn. Again, I do think it is time we get, because again, if he's not going to be a world champion, if he's not going to have something that meaningful, he's not going to resign around WrestleMania when his contract's up. So, if Drew McIntyre doesn't turn heel soon, then I'm going to be assuming more and more that he's getting ready to leave. Just saying. Backstage, again, we have Finn Balor talking to Damian Priest how we need to focus, get on the same page, blah, blah, blah. And also, Priest starts talking trash about JD McDonough. And then, of course, Finn gets all pissed off. And Damian says he doesn't care. He only cares about the Judgment Day. And then Rhea steps in and it's like, guys, stop fighting. Get on the same page. Blah, blah, blah. And they don't have gold at the end. And basically they said that they're going to get their shot at Payback. And if they don't have gold at the end of the night, there will have to be some changes. Which again, I'll say this right now as a preview for my Payback preview. I do think that they do, because they are having the match, even though I don't care, I mean, it will still be a fun match, but still, the fact that we've had these guys fight how many freaking times, I do feel that they are going to give the belts to Finn and Damian, mainly because Sami and Kevin have both been banged up at work and hurt for a while. So I think they are going to give them the belts, but again, it's like, why care when they just, gosh. So, but part of me's kind of hoping they don't win, and they finally end this, or at least get somewhere different with this stuff with the Judgment Day. We had the Bray tribute thing and the rocking chair and the Fireflies afterwards. Then we have Imperium come out, getting ready for Ludwig Kaiser, the wrestle Chad Gable. But before we have that, we have Gunther cutting the promo. He says that Chad Gable made history last week. He was the first man to beat him over 500 days by count out. So even though it was a title match, you still didn't win the title. Because I'm still standing here as your Intercontinental Champion. But he did achieve one thing though in that match. And that's pissing me off. He then rants and John for a bit and says how Chad has his attention now. And next week on Monday Night Raw, damn it, I was so hoping they would have had a pay-per-view match. Gunther and Riddle, maybe. I guess that maybe they did this because that's literally like the legitimate last, shot anybody has to dethrone Gunther before he breaks the Honky Tonk Man's record next Friday. But they're having the rematch, which better main event the show, by the way. But they're going to have the rematch next week on Raw. I think Gunther's probably going to win with like a screwy finish. And then if that's the case, then let him hold the belt and have Chad Gable, since it'll be 1-1, have Chad Gable dethrone him at Fastlane. That's why I would probably go. Anyways, though, Alpha Academy come out. Gable says he usually shoosh Gunther, but he made some good points. Gunther did go almost unbeaten for nearly 2 years. But when Chad handed him his first loss in only 10 seconds, he only needs 3 seconds, though, to take away the title. So they have a match with Ludwig, which was, good. It was fine. I kind of like this match with Giovanni a little bit more last week, though. But, of course, Chad was about to win. He hit the Chaos Theory on Ludwig, which, of course, Ludwig's facial expressions were priceless. A lot of people's facial expressions are priceless when Chad picks it up, getting ready to do that Chaos Theory. And then Giovanni Vinci runs in to break it up, and it's a DQ. Otis ran in trying to stop them, but then Gunther got in, and the numbers game was too much. Imperium stand tall. We'll see the rematch between them next Monday. Okay. Seth Rollins came out, which we also got a memorial for Bob Barker, the Price is Right host who passed away, which I don't know if I ever saw his segment on Raw with Chris Jericho. People were telling me to watch it. They sent me links. I have not got a chance to watch it yet, but I think I might have to. Chris Jericho and Bob Barker. That'd be very interesting. Anyways, Seth Rollins came out. He mentions it's been a long week. And he calls out Shinsuke Nakamura. And basically, Nakamura didn't answer him. Seth tries to go to him in to sing his song. Before Nakamura appears on the Tron, and there was a nice video package of him practicing martial arts. Of course, talking in Japanese, but there was subtitles there. Saying how he wants to dismantle Seth Rollins. And he wants to force Seth's wife to know that he's the reason she has to help him out of bed. And that he won't be able to walk his daughter down the aisle on her wedding day. And he's going to break Seth because he can be broken. His body betrayed, and he'll put him out of his misery. Which, of course, pisses off Rollins and wants to know what happened to the Shinsuke Nakamura who headlined the Tokyo Dome and lit the world on fire when he came to NXT. He would have given Shinsuke the shirt off his broken back a month ago. But his broken back didn't stand in the way of him winning the World Heavyweight Championship, and it won't stop him from beating Nakamura on Saturday. He's going to maul him, and he won't stop until he's pulled away. And when he's lying there defeated, he'll know he can't take any way away from Seth. Not his title, not his future, not his family. BAM! Nakamura hits a King Shasta to his upper back from behind him, and he chokes him out. He even whispers something to Seth, and then before he kicked his head in. I don't know about you guys, but I am still one of the people who is kind of hoping they pull the trigger and put the belt on Nakamura. Again, this build already, I already love this heel Nakamura character even more than I did when he was first a heel the first time around. Which, again, that was only because they needed a heel with him and AJ to keep the feud going. They had their good matches, but they didn't get what they could do. I think this match on Saturday, which should main event, as of now, I'm still saying have Seth Rollins and Shinsuke Nakamura main event Payback. Give the World Heavyweight title, the so-called consolation prize, a chance to main event the show. But that's going to be a great match. And again, if they keep going with this character, which I think they should capitalize on it, I really think Nakamura should fire the shot at Seth's back. And again, because I keep hearing rumors that Seth's going to take some time off, which he should, especially if he's been wrestling with these injuries for 4 years. 4 4 years. Take the time off, fix his back. Also, by the way, over the weekend at a house show, Seth Rollins did imitate Bray Wyatt's spider walk as like a montage to him, which, awesome. My wife did point out, though, how was he able to do that, though, with his bad back? Like, is it not as bad as he makes it seem? Or I don't know, but when I saw it, she's like, you're right. I'm like, I'm sure it's going to hurt. But, I still kind of want them to pull the trigger and put the belt on Shinsuke. I really do. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens are backstage. That's where they said their shtick. We then have Bronson Reed and Tommaso Ciampa. Bronson attacked Ciampa on the ramp before their match began. Then the match happened, and eventually Ciampa had some random awkward pinfall with a crucifix driver he hit on Bronson. Why is Bronson losing a lot lately? And why do we keep doing Bronson Reed versus the same exact people? So that was a little strange. We also have Becky Lynch being interviewed, admitting she had second thoughts, third thoughts, and so on, but they've all been about whooping Zoey Stark all around the arena. She's been backed into a corner, but she doesn't want the easy way out. And she's bringing chaos to Memphis with her. And then, of course, that's when we had the Rhea Ripley promo when she hypes up her match with Raquel Rodriguez and talks about this, blah, blah, blah. Rodriguez had to fake an injury, get one up on her, but she doesn't blame her because her resume speaks for herself. And it's going to take too long, and the title around her way for her to even capitalize, and she won't get the title. And Rodriguez is a fool for thinking she will win. Raquel comes in and she brawls. Of course, they tease Raquel beating up Dom, but of course Rhea countered and fought back. And then Rodriguez sent her packing with a lariat. We then get a Trish Stratus and Zoey Stark promo, where Trish calls Becky an idiot for taking this Falls Count Anywhere match, and Zoey says when she's done with Becky, she'll leave plenty of Trish in the steel cage. She'll leave plenty for Trish for the steel cage at Payback. And then, of course, we got the Terry Funk Memorial. We then had the main event, Becky Lynch and Zoey Stark, Falls Count Anywhere match. It's a good match. It's competitive. Trish got involved many times, though, of course, trying to help out Zoey. There was a couple teases of dissension, though. Well, first, there was a spot in the match where Becky did run off Trish with kendo sticks. Trish came back later, though, eventually. There was a spot in the match, though, where Trish was tossing Zoey some chairs from the outside. And one of them accidentally hit Zoey. And Trish was like, I didn't mean to. It was an accident. She's like, okay, but, that's your warning. And then towards the end of the match, when basically Becky was brawling Trish and Zoey 2-on-1, they were standing on top of like a barricade or something like that, which Trish also hit a very nice Stratisfaction bulldog on Becky through a table. And of course, Zoey took too long to get over there to pin her, of course. But it was a very nice looking shot there. But towards the end, they're brawling on top of like a road case or a barricade. And I guess Zoey went to hit Becky. Becky ducked and instead hit Trish. And Trish went through the tables, and both Becky and Zoey were standing there, both like. And then Becky did the same thing, and they looked at each other, and then basically Zoey realized she was dead. Becky hits a manhandle slam on Zoey Stark and gets the victory in the main event. Good match. Again, Zoey looked good. They gave her a lot of time. She came out looking pretty strong in the loss, I would say, but, she lost, but I thought she looked good. Afterwards, Becky does get a little emotional. She was wearing a Bray armband. She takes it off and does hold it up as the show goes off the air. And then after the show went off the air, Becky Lynch does cut this promo and tells this story about how in 2016 she was getting ready to do her first tables match, which was the TLC match, the tables match at TLC 2016, where she dropped the title to Alexa Bliss for the SmackDown Women's Championship. It was actually also, I think Becky mentioned, I didn't realize it It was her first singles title match. Because I remember she won the title at Backlash. I think she was hurt for No Mercy, I think. Because remember, she was hurt, I think, but then she had the rematch in Glasgow, and she beat Alexa. And then at Survivor Series, she was in the Women's Survivor Series match, which I remember also, she was champion, but yet they didn't have her be captain. They had Nikki Bella as captain, which I think that did bother Becky, which I don't blame her. And then, of course, she had the TLC, the tables match at TLC. But anyways, she didn't know how to properly set the table and whatnot. Apparently, she said, there's more to doing it than the ICs. And, of course, the one person who took her under her wing was Bray Wyatt. Even when he was preparing for his tag title match, it was because that was him and Randy versus Heath Slater and Rhino. I believe it was on that show. And he took the time out of his day, despite the fact he had his own match, he took the time to help Becky practice preparing the tables for her table spots. Class act for Wyndham, for sure. Again, just another story that shows how great of a man Wyndham Rotunda was. And he is sorely missed. Of course, again, I still have his figurine. And again, I think it's supposed to ship tomorrow and hopefully will get delivered sometime next week. We'll be getting the plaque for when he first won the world title at Extreme Rules. Not Extreme Rules, that's when he returned. Extreme Rules 1 and 2. Elimination Chamber 2017 when he won his first world title. We'll be getting that plaque again. That was kind of like a donation to the Rotunda family for sure. By the way, also, I thought about this also. So, Tiffany Stratton, the NXT Women's Champion, was in the crowd. And the story of her being there was because she was scouting out the competition. Apparently, she feels there is no competition in NXT. And actually, I didn't get to look up the results yet from NXT. Let me check it out now. Let me see. WWE. There was a fatal four-way apparently on NXT this week to crown a new number one contender for Stratton's women's title. So, Kiana James. Don't know who that is. But, that's surprising. But anyways, there have been rumors floating around for a while that Becky Lynch may be spending some time in NXT. Which is a little odd, because you would think that after she feuds with Trish, she would feud with Rhea. But if they're doing this story in NXT, which again, I don't watch NXT, but I still, at least see what's all going on, but I don't watch it. I wonder if Tiffany being there was a tease for Becky going to NXT, and she may be the one to dethrone Tiffany. Because think about it, Becky's not won the NXT Women's Championship. She's the only one of the 4 horsewomen that did not win the NXT Women's title. And they may be having her do that. That's what I'm just throwing it out there. Because they were kind of heavily featuring her towards the end of the show, right when Becky was getting ready to come out. That could be a tease for Tiffany Stratton versus Becky Lynch. And of course, again, because also, remember, it is around that time where they're getting ready to get new TV deals. They got to get the viewership up for NXT. Again, they had Seth freaking Rollins wrestle Braun Breaker. I didn't get to watch the match. Which, by the way, where the hell is Braun Breaker? Why isn't he on the main roster yet? I honestly thought when they wrote Cora Jade off TV, when she lost to, of all people, Dana Brooke in a kendo stick match, I thought that's when they were going to call up Braun Breaker and Cora Jade, because they're together, so you thought they'd bring it up together. But it's not the case. So not yet. But yeah, they'll probably do that just as another way to, get the numbers up for NXT. So don't be surprised if you do see Becky Lynch versus Tiffany Stratton in NXT sometime soon. But That's my thoughts on Raw. I talked a lot more than I thought I would. Well, I talked about a bunch of random things for the first 10 minutes, and then, things went off. But yeah, not bad for having a little bit of a dry throat right now. So, I gave the show a C+. Again, it was decent. I got what they were going for. It's just that a lot of the show was rematches. So, that's my thoughts on Raw. What are your guys' thoughts on this week's episode of Raw? Again, I gave it a C+. Leave your guys' thoughts down in the comment section below. Be sure as always to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter at @TheClubWithTheMan93 and also follow me on TikTok and Instagram at @TheClubWithTheMan1993. My Bray Wyatt short on Instagram, I'm sorry, not Instagram, on TikTok, I think is at almost 900 views. Let's get that up to 1,000. It's at 884. Give that to 1,000. I might have to tweet that out later. But yeah. Either tonight or tomorrow, I will do Payback preview. It might have to be pre-recorded, though. So don't be surprised that's the case. And either way, though, I will not have full graphics ready for that video. But I'm going to, of course, right now, do some other work. Maybe come back here later tonight to do my Payback review. But hopefully that'll be uploaded. And I gotta also finish editing my roller coaster video. I have Aqua Park done for over a week now. I've only edited 1 year of it. I want to get it done by the end of the summer, but look at this. It's the end of summer. It's not been there. So, it's life, guys. And I know it's not been a good image on the channel. Again, I've slowed down in gaining subscribers recently, but only so much I can do. If I don't get 2,000 by the end of the year, just try again next year. So once again, yeah, guys, that Payback preview, SmackDown review, Payback review, all in, all out. All that matters is the drama review will happen after that as well. But that's just some upcoming stuff for the channel. And of course, hopefully soon, more video game stuff. So guys, once again, leave your guys' thoughts again about everything down in the comment section below. Be sure as always to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter at @TheClubWithTheMan93 and TikTok and Instagram at TheClubWithTheMan93. And until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you guys all later. And do not forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself. And that is not just an opinion. That is a fact of life. Yeah!